Hello, and welcome back to Finally You're 40. This is Coach Vic, and I just wanted to come on today. I want to come on and talk to you about emotional intelligence because one of the things that I've heard a lot of people say, you hear a lot of people presenting and putting things on the internet, in the different platforms, but I hear people saying all the time, hurt people, and that might be true to an extent. But what I understand about that particular situation is this. Okay, and I told you guys about we talking about when I was telling you that I love food. I love to cook. I love food. So I'm going to use another food analogy here. The last time we talked about the pepper and the coriander, but this time we're going to talk about frozen meat. And for you vegans, I apologize. You can add tofu into that when I'm talking about meat, or you can add paneer into that when we're talking about meat. But I want to talk to you about frozen meat and frozen meat. When you buy meat from the store, or you get it from the butcher, or wherever you get it from, and it's frozen, there's no, you know 100% that it's frozen. So it doesn't bother you because it's frozen. But what happens is when you put the seasoning on your meat, and you put it whether you put it in the oven, or you put it on the stove and prepare and frying, or whether you deep fry it, or however you want to do it, as you're preparing it, and you take it off. It has all of the trimmings. It has all of the coloration. Everything lets you know that makes you feel like the meat is done on the outside. And so you'll begin to take it off, unless we're talking about steak, because people eat steak different ways. But let's talk about poultry. Let's talk about chicken, or let's talk about duck, or turkey. And so what happens is you cook it, and it looks like on the outside it's got the nice coating that lets you know that it's done. But on the inside, when you take a couple of the first, you cut up the corners, and it's done at the corner. But as you get to the middle, you begin to see the pink, or you begin to see the red, where the meat hasn't cooked all the way through, and the meat is still pretty room temperature, or pretty cold. It's not warm. It should be 160 degrees Fahrenheit, but it's not warm at all. And I'm using this analogy to tell you the hurt people is not as much as the hurt people. It's not as much as people say it is. It's more about, to me, people who are not fully healed, or people who are partially healed. And you can the analogy them to people to meat that's partially cooked. They have all of the trimmings, all of the the coloration, all of the decoration, all of the trimmings that make you feel like you're whole, but there's still like this huge sore on the inside of you that has not healed. And what ends up happening is when you get into situations where we're talking about the pepper and the coriander, when you're putting yourself in situations where you apply pepper where it should be coriander, where you apply coriander where there should be pepper. It's the same thing when you don't have the emotional intelligence available, because of the fact that you have not fully healed, because you're not fully cooked on the inside, because there's still something, there's still a hole, there's still a hurt, there's still a pain that you haven't dealt with on the inside. And then that pain has caused you now to walk around, and people, you can interact with people on a surface level, and everything will be fine. But once you start getting to that deeper level, of once somebody begins to talk about something that nicks that pain, the reaction or the action that happens after that nicking of that pain from that person is usually like an emotional outburst, where you're yelling, or you're angry, or you're in tears, or you run away from the situation, and it's because you have not healed fully. And the reason why you have not, in most instances, I'm not going to say all, but the reason why we haven't healed fully is because we have not dealt with we have not assumed any part of the blame in the situation. And I'm not trying to tell anybody that if you've been hurt in a particular way that it's your fault, because that would not be truth. That's not being honest. But there are certain parts of every situation that we can assume some portion of responsibility for, and then begin to heal from those parts. And, like I said, there's some situations where it's not your fault at all. So we're not going to deal with those situations. but we need to be able to discern and to understand, the difference in those situations. And when we're talking about somebody being physically abused or emotionally abused by someone, that's not the same thing. Those are situations where you can help. That's just that person that you're dealing with being who they are. And sometimes it's them, not being fully cooked or not being well done, and they're acting out of their pain. But a lot of times we have our own pain and frustration, and we begin to act out of our pain and frustration, and we begin to lash out at people based on that pain and that frustration because we're not fully cooked. And so finding your 40 is really going to deal with a lot of that situation, a lot of those situations, because all of us have some kind of emotional pain or trauma that we've experienced. And so we have to really begin to come together and begin to huddle up around each other and encourage each other and really help each other to get through those processes and process that pain properly, so that we can move forward. We can get the strength, get that, regain our inner strength and move forward. But when we don't let ourselves be fully cooked, when we're not fully cooked, when we don't have when our inner parts, the inner pain has not healed fully, there's this thing called soft tissue injuries, and it's where you have a scar, but deep up under the scar, there's still an infection. And when you press on the scar, you get that there's a pain that's there because the infection exists up under the scar. And this is the same thing that happens to us. When I was in the military, I was working on an aircraft, at a particular location, and I stood up, and there was like this really sharp antenna in the front of the aircraft, and it went to the top of my head, and I began bleeding, and so I put some things on it, and I put and I stopped the bleeding and everything, but I didn't go to the doctor, and I didn't have anybody look at it. But what ended up happening in that particular instance though is that the scar healed, it scabbed over and then it healed. But when you touch it, when I went to brush my hair, it would always be like this pain. I was like, well, why is this pain still there? And so I ended up having to reopen that particular wound, and then take some alcohol and everything and clean it out again, and then make sure it was cleaned out, and then let it heal again. And this is for some people, this is a painful experience, and you probably won't be able to sustain living through those particular circumstances again. But finding your 40 is about doing things like that. It's about really getting that inner healing, and then letting that inner healing begin to flow outward. But and we would have to really we can't allow surface healing to hinder us from moving forward and accomplishing our goal. So we have to really get into the inner parts of our hurt, of our pain, and really begin to push forward, push outward from there, and really deal with it. And if you need to talk to a counselor, if you need a coach or somebody to help you through that process, then please find somebody to help you through that process. But please don't let yourself continue to suffer that pain, and don't continue to suffer the frustration and the aggravation that goes along with that pain, because eventually when you're hurting others, you're hurting yourself. Because the more and what I've learned about me personally is that I can't, I have to be me. I have to, I'm a happy-go-lucky person. I love to smile. I'm a free spirit. When I'm out, I just kind of, I let the wind take me wherever the wind wants to take me, and I just wander like that. But when I have things on my mind, or when I feel like I'm being put pressured, put in situations that I'm not comfortable in, and I'm not responding properly to it, then I find myself acting out and reacting in ways I shouldn't, and so I've learned to harness those things through emotional intelligence, through understanding my own emotions, then understanding how to respond to the situation and not to the person. Respond to the situation and not to the people. Make the situation your focal point, rather than the person, because then you're able to deal with it on a level it's supposed to be on. But when you begin to respond to a person, and because of that person's personality, then you end up in elevating and escalating situations above levels the way they shouldn't be, and then eventually it becomes out of control, and there end up being sometimes violence, and sometimes people get hurt. Sometimes things are said that words are said that you can't take back. And even when you apologize to somebody for saying saying the wrong thing, it does not mean that hurt is not gonna go away. Because one of the things I understand, and I tell people all the time, that there are 4 people that always tell the truth, or that mostly tell the truth, and it's drunk people, and it's older people, and it's little kids, and it's mad people, And so when you get to that point where you have an emotional response, what you've been thinking to say, or what you've been wanting to say for a long period of time, that's when those outbursts come out, and it's just an excuse why I was mad, but it's what you've been thinking all the time, but you don't have the courage to say, in the normal context of conversation. And so I really want us to work on being fully cooked, being fully done, being well done, and being readily prepared for the tables that we're going to be served at, and for the conversations we're going to be involved in and engaged in, so that we're able to be wholly there, and to be whole while we're in the situation. Insertion and extraction is where this comes from, and like I said, when we get into the final year 40, the manual with the workbook, you'll have an opportunity to see all this stuff that we're talking about now in the workbook and in the manual, and you'll see exactly how it's going to help you to heal, to be set free from all of the pain and things you're suffering, and to be able to move forward and be strong in what you're doing. God bless you. Like, share, subscribe to this video. Know that Coach Vic is here for you. You can find me on coach.vic@yahoo.com. Email me, write me letters. Tell me your situation. Let me pray for you. Let us talk about it. Let us Zoom meet about it. I just want you to be whole. I want us to all be able to put our best foot forward and be the best version of ourselves. So God bless you. Have a good day. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2023, the year of the excellent me. The year of excellent me. 2023, the year of excellent me. I want you to say that. Look in the mirror and say that 2023 is the year of excellent me, and know that I'm here with you. We're going to work through this together, and we're going to put our best foot forward every single day. God bless you, and have a good day. This is Coach Vic. Like, share, and subscribe. An opportunity, and I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.